Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I am going to be doing a cruelty-free drugstore affordable makeup video. I did one of these a while ago and I figure I would do an updated version, especially because there's a bunch of eyeshadow palettes that I've discovered since then that I love. This video is mostly going to be me talking about my favorite cruelty-free products from the drugstore. I have like one thing from ColourPop and a couple things that you can get from like the affordable section of Ulta. I was debating whether or not I should include that kind of stuff because they're not technically drugstore, because drugstore I would consider what you can get at like Walgreens, CVS, Target. But I figure in the range of affordable cruelty-free products, I might as well include everything that I can. So I am going to go through the different sections: eyes, lips, face. Yeah, just those three, and I'm just gonna get started. Okay, so I have a lot of cruelty-free products for the eyes here. I'm gonna get started with the eyeshadow palettes. I'll start with the one that I'm actually wearing today, and that is the CoverGirl True Naked Smoky palette. I did an entire video, which I'll put up in the cards here. Editing Alex, remember to actually put it in the cards, where I was comparing it to the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette, and I actually ended up liking this one a bit more. The difference between this one and the other one is that this one has a lot more softer shadows, and also that like the browns and bronzes that are included in the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette, they're not in this one. And quite frankly, to me, if the problems that you had with the Urban Decay Naked Smoky deterred you from trying something like this, really try this, because this one's formula is kind of basically the exact opposite. It's very like gorgeous and shimmery, which you can tell by what I'm wearing on my lid, which is this shade and this shade. They're very beautiful, very shimmery, very easy to work with, and the matte shades in it, even though there's like two matte shades and one like satin shade, which I wish there was a little bit more, but it's fine, like for the kinds of looks that you would want to do with this. The matte shades are not as stiff, they're a lot more blendable. I really wish that that would go away. But they're a lot more blendable, and so if you had trouble with the Urban Decay palette, I would really recommend giving this one a shot, because this one is kind of all of the things that that one wasn't. The next one I'm going to talk about is the NYX Ultimate Warm Neutrals palette. The label is kind of ended up peeling off of mine. I know I included this in yesterday's video as like the most boring palette that I own. That's not untrue, but I still really love this. The formula is really fantastic. This one is on the upper end of drugstore to me. Again, still wanted to include it. You can get it at Target. Ulta has like the 350 off 15 coupon things, which would work really well for this. If you wanted a dupe for actually the Urban Decay Naked Heat, I have seen people do swatches, and this one is like an exact dupe. And that's actually what drew me into this, because I didn't want to buy the full-on Naked Heat palette, and instead I got this one. I really love the like orange and red shades in the bottom two rows. That's probably my favorite part of this palette. The top part I only use as like accents and transitions, if you like know my makeup style. But I've seen Tori from Biohazardous Beauty, she did a gorgeous look with this palette, like a halo eye using the reds with that red shimmer. The red shimmer here is probably my favorite. I know the NYX eyeshadow formula is hit or miss, but this one is definitely a hit. This is one of the best eyeshadow formulas that I think NYX has done. So recommend this. Okay, and the other two eyeshadow palettes fall into the category of you can't find it at CVS, but you could find it at Ulta or on the ColourPop website. Spoiler alert, one of them is ColourPop. This is the Good Sport palette right here. I got this last fall. I absolutely love this color scheme. I've never tried ColourPop shadows before, and now I have, and I'm actually a really big fan of it. I think the mattes are very good. The shimmers are very like glittery, chunky-ish, but like in a good way. This is one of those palettes that like I've done a whole bunch of looks out of it and it's never looked bad. I think the color scheme is just so well done that you can get a whole bunch of different unique looks out of it, but you never really come up with a dud. Like even the bad looks end up looking good. So I think this one is still available on the ColourPop website. This is the only ColourPop palette that I own besides their like little mini berry palette, which isn't available on the ColourPop website, which I'm upset about because that one is like cute. But yeah, I totally recommend this if you want a ColourPop palette with a little bit more of an interesting color scheme than the neutrals that they usually do. And then the last eyeshadow palette that I'm going to include is from Juvia's Place. This is the Festival palette. This is the only Juvia's Place palette that I own because this is, to me, the most interesting color scheme. I am such a huge fan of the red and the orange and the hot pink in this palette. This might be one of my next 3 Looks One palettes just because it's so gorgeous. I have always come up with like really fun summer festival looks out of this. The colors are so bright and vibrant. It's just so good. I don't know what to say about this other than like, just look at it. It's amazing. I do want to try other Juvia's Place palettes, but I'm honestly really content with this one because this to me has like the best color scheme. So if you're looking for a palette with like a lot of like really bright, vibrant, red, pink, orange shades, I think this one is a really good option. So give that one a shot. Okay, so moving on into other eye products, I'm going to start with the NYX HD Eyeshadow Primer, which I always use in every single one of my videos. I don't understand how this doesn't get more hype around YouTube. If you're looking for what is basically an exact dupe for the Urban Decay Primer Potion, this is very much it. I did a video back in 2016 where I tested both of them like side by side, and honestly this one, much like the CoverGirl Naked Smoky, actually beat out Urban Decay. Poor Urban Decay is just like getting its butt kicked in this video. When drugstore products can do better. So this is a really good dupe for that. If you like that, if you have oily lids like me, this one does a very good job of like smoothing things over and making your eyeshadow look really good. This is what I have on underneath my eyeshadow today. I think it turned out really good. And this one is pretty inexpensive too. I know the Urban Decay Primer Potion is like 20 bucks. This one is like 6 or 7. Another primary thing, this is more of a recent discovery. It is the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas. You can find this in the drugstore section of Ulta. This one is also pretty inexpensive. It's $5 or $6-ish, maybe $7 at the most. This is what I use to do my cut creases, and I've been using this since like my birthday-ish. And I've been using this on my eyes. It's really easy. I do have to use a smaller brush than the one that comes on this because this one is like a little chunky and a little bit weird to use as like a priming brush. So I just use a little bit smaller of a brush. I put it like close to my lash line. I look up and then I fill it in and you have a perfect base for a cut crease. I also have this one in Halo, which is a white one, which I think provides an especially good base for all of the colors to become super vibrant. If you've been having trouble like doing a cut crease, I honestly didn't really learn one until like last fall because it just didn't work for my eye shape up until then. If you've been having trouble learning how to do this, I really think that this would be beneficial. On the subject of eyeliners, this one's gonna be pretty easy. This is the NYX Retractable Eye Pencil in black. I also like the Milani Retractable Eye Pencil in black. This is just what I have in my waterline. I don't use a lot of like different eye pencil colors, so I also don't like having to sharpen pencils. So that's just kind of what leads me to like the retractable versions a bit more. There isn't a whole lot I can say about this, but this has been really trusty and true to me. It is really good for just like lining the waterline, for if you want to do something maybe a little bit grungy or anything like that. This is really good. It's a black eyeliner, but I like it, and if you're looking for a black eyeliner, I would recommend this one. And then I'm also going to recommend the NYX Epic Ink Liner. This has replaced my Kat Von D ink liner in Trooper. This is what I have on my eyes right now as my liner. How many times can I say the word liner here? But I really like this. This one is a brush tip as opposed to a felt tip, which is what I'm more used to. And that one is a bit of a learning curve for me because this one does obviously fray more than a felt tip pen, but it doesn't dry out as easily. So it's kind of like a nice little trade-off. This is really easy to work with. I don't really like the like dipping in eyeliners as much, so this one is a lot easier to work with. If you've been using like high-end felt tip liners and want to find like a more affordable option, I would really recommend giving this one a shot. Okay, so I know I just said that I don't really like doing the dip in eyeliners, but I really do like the NYX Vivid Brights liners. I have all of them. They're really gorgeous. Now, I don't like using these to do like a wing liner like what I have on right now. They're really thick and a bit crusty. Well, every time you've ever seen me have the eye look like with the dots all over it, I've used one of these. My favorites are probably the yellow and the red. This is really good for, like I said, it's good for detail work. It's not good for like a big ol' wing liner. I've tried it before, like it's okay, but it's not the most comfortable to wear throughout the day. But this is good for like detail work. I've also used this to do like a confetti type eye look, to do like some little tiny flowers on my face, so you can kind of get a variety of things out of this. This is fun for like Halloween and face painting and special effects. So these are really fun, and if you want to try like doing the dots on your eyes or something like that, I really recommend trying one of these. And lastly on the eyes, I'm going to recommend the CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume Mascara. Kind of rediscovered this, and this is what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. I don't wear false lashes, if you don't know. So this is what my mascara is like naturally looking like. I think it looks really great. This is just kind of an easy breezy CoverGirl type mascara. For someone like me who has naturally pretty long and thick lashes, not to brag, I think that this does a really good job of lifting and volumizing and just like darkening my lashes so that my look looks more finished than if I wasn't wearing mascara. Now I'm gonna go on to face products. I'm going to start off with two face palettes that I'm gonna talk about. The first one is the NYX Strobe of Genius palette. You know, you can tell which shade has gotten my most love out of this one. I haven't pulled this out in a while, but I love pulling this out whenever like my friends want me to do their makeup or anything like that, just because there's such a wide variety of shades in here. Now this isn't like Anastasia Glow Kit quality. Those are a lot more softer. These are a little bit more stiff, but these are a bit more glittery. So if you like something with a pretty intense highlight, I really recommend trying this. The only shade I don't really like is the gold up there. It goes too stiff in comparison to the others. Like the other ones are a little stiff but very workable. This one is less good. I love using the middle shade on the bottom as like a blush topper. I love that glowy cheek look, as you can tell by my face. I really like this one, and I need to pull it out a bit more. The other face palette I'm going to talk about is the Saharan Blush Volume 2 palette from Juvia's Place. This is more of a recent acquisition. I got this December-ish after lusting after it for a while, but I think this is a really gorgeous, versatile face palette. I am especially a fan of Yara and B. I like using Yara as a bronzer and B as like a nice little mauve tone blush. Now you might look at this blush and say, whoa, that would make you look dead, but it actually doesn't. Or at least it makes you look dead in like a cool way. This is actually a little bit more warm tone than the pan would lead you to believe, so it's less of a like a grayish mauve and more of a berry tone mauve, if that makes sense. And I love mauve like cheeks. I like that as a blush when I'm doing more of like an eye look like this. I'm not actually wearing that as my blush today, but you know what I mean. I also really love Lena. I kind of mix Lena and Zoba together to kind of create like a blushy, glowy cheek look. So if you've been wanting to try the Saharan Blush 2 palette thing, you should do it. Now I want to talk about the NYX Matte Bronzer. I have actually been really loving this when I wanted to replace my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. This is what it looks like. I have it in the shade medium, and that is one thing that I will say for the NYX bronzers is that they could really stand to up their shade range, just because if this is medium and it works on me, this is what I have as my bronzer right now. It's a medium, in case you can't tell. My skin's not medium. So I feel like that's definitely something that could improve on their part. But I think this is a really good formula. Not a lot of people talk about it. And if you're looking for like a drugstore version of like the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, I would recommend looking into this line because I feel like the formula is pretty similar. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to talk about are the Milani Baked Blushes. I have one more, but these are my two favorite shades, so I just wanted to bring these over. This one is in Rose d'Oro, which is more warm tone, and this one is in Berry Amour, which is more pink tone. I'm wearing Berry Amour right now. These have been all over YouTube for years, and like there's a reason why. It's because they give this gorgeous, subtle, lit from within, not to be too cheesy, but lit from within glow that like just really works well for my cheeks. I love actually using Rose d'Oro on shades when I don't want to have to do like a full-on contour blush, bronzer, highlight thing. It's so warm toned that it honestly, on my skin tone, it acts as a bronzer, blush, and highlight kind of all at once. I might still add a little bit of highlight on top just because I like a highlight, but I think this is really, really beautiful. If you're looking to try a good glowy blush, I 10 out of 10 would recommend these. They're very subtle, so if you want like the full-on color, you would definitely have to build it up. But for someone like me, who I'm always afraid that I'm gonna look like super, super red when I put on blush, these are really good for that because it gives you the color and the glow, but without all of the redness in my cheeks. And then the last face product I'm going to talk about is the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter in Radiant Lights. I love this tone of highlight. This is what I have on right now. I have this tone of highlight and like two other highlights, but this is my one cruelty-free drugstore non-discontinued option. I had one of these a couple years ago, but then it shattered and broke along with my spirit. So I went out and I got another one. This provides such like a nice baked wet look on your face. This comes in two other shades. I haven't really tried either of those just because this one is the more neutral tone one, and that tends to be about the shade of highlight that I go for. I like a neutral tone highlight. So this one is really pretty. I kind of dig my brush in there just so I can get it like really intense, so you can make it subtle if you have a little bit more of a light hand than me, or you can make it really intense like I do. So I think this is really versatile, and I would say give it a shot. And lastly, I have 3 lip products. Now I have 2 lip products from Milani. The first one is the Amore Matte Lip Cream in Loved, which I actually have as a dupe for Kat Von D Lolita 2, which is a little bit more of my favorite between the two of them. This one is a little bit more pinky, a little bit more warm tone. I love this as just kind of an everyday kind of liquid lipstick color. I feel like this goes with just about any look you could imagine, and these smell so good. They smell like buttercream frosting, and so if you're sensitive to scents, I really wouldn't recommend it. But if you're not sensitive to scents and you actually really love stuff like this, I would recommend this. A lot of people find this one a bit too drying. I personally don't. I just do lip balm, so it depends on your personal preference. I can handle a pretty dry liquid lipstick. So I really like this one, and it's not like streaky or anything. I know apparently the darker shades in that line are pretty streaky, but this one goes on pretty easily, just like one coat, and it wears really well too. In the rare case that you would have to reapply it throughout the day, it doesn't get like all chunky on your lips either, so it's really nice. The lipstick that I'm wearing right now is Milani 69 Matte Beauty in their Color Statement lipstick. You can tell like I've had this since December and I've used up this much of it. This is another one of my go-to lipsticks. Again, I feel like this kind of goes with everything too. It's a nice brownie nude, and I feel like it would look good on a lot of people. I think the shade is really flattering. Again, it just goes with a lot of the different sorts of looks that I do. So I really recommend this, and I really like the Milani bullet lipstick formula. I think it manages to stay on really well without it being like a weird smeary bullet lipstick like a lot of them are, so it's really good. And the last thing I'm going to mention is the Ulta Beauty Tinted Juice Infused Lip Oil in the shade Tea Rose. This is like kind of my go-to gloss, like I have any other gloss in my collection. As you would know in my other videos, I'm not a lip gloss fan, but I really do like this one. This one is a lip oil, so it's like really nice and hydrating, and with my natural lip color, it's kind of a My Lips But Better. My Lips But Better. It's a My Lips But Better lip color with just like a little bit of gloss. I love doing this if I'm doing a really bright and bold eye look, especially using like glitter and stuff where you really don't want to have the intensity of a liquid lipstick on your lips because you feel like it would take away. I love doing this because it really just balances out the face and it's comfortable. It's a gloss, so I reapply it throughout the day and stuff. But I think it's really fantastic, and I kind of want to try this formula in like a more warm tone shade too. This one is very pinky, but yeah. Okay, so I have to actually eat my breakfast now before I go to work, so that is it for this drugstore favorites video. If you have any recommendations that I haven't mentioned here, please let me know down below. I would be really interested in trying more things. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and I'll see you on my next one. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. Bye!